Hey, my lovelies. It's Jay, and welcome back to JayeRated. I know it's been a while, sadly, but did you miss me? Because I missed you. And what better way to come back with than with a show that has had me hooked, honestly, since its inception? We are talking Stranger Things. So there's one thing I can say about Stranger Things. It will send chills down my spine. Okay? I'm talking the visuals, the sound effects, the music, okay, along with the writing. It just eats down, honey. It really does. So let's get into the last and final season, season 5. I hope you got your snacks ready and your cups are full. Let's get into it. Let's start with chapter 1, shall we? The vanishing of Holly Wheeler. Excuse me? I'm sorry, what did you say? The vanishing? We have another vanishing of a child? This is how they start us off here. Okay? So we open chapter 1 with Dustin still struggling after Eddie's death. And let's be honest here, it's been over a year since season 4, and I too am still struggling with Eddie's death as if I knew him, as if he was a family friend of ours. I too am feeling the same way, Dusty Buns. So I get it. But it was very heartwarming to see that the gang is still together. And then we pan to see a sign of L, aka Jane, aka 11, that she's missing. And I'm like, wait, hold on. What did I miss? Like, do I need to go back to season 4 to recap? Because as you all may recall, we ended season 4 with Hawkins basically splitting into 4. And there was some indication that this was not truly over and Ish was really, really about to go down. So my thoughts are, where is my girl Jaye? Where is Elle? We also see a heavy military presence in Hawkins after their town has split into 4. Obviously, they are there just to suss things out and try to take advantage of the situation as they always have in this show. So throughout the episode, we kept hearing the crawl, the crawl, the crawl, the crawl. I'm like, what the hell? What are they getting ready to crawl into? You know? But then we finally come to learn that the crawl is indeed their opportunity to go into the upside down that is being monitored by the military at this point to try to take out dear old Vecna. And let me just say, I love how organized the gang is this time around. I feel like, you know, from season 1 up until now, they are sick of the ish. Okay, and said they like, look, we gotta have a plan. And if A, B, and Z does not work, we need plan alpha. Okay, and so I love that they're getting organized. We do finally get to see Elle. We see that she is training with Hopper and Joyce, so that she can eventually go down into the upside down during a crawl with Hopper to take out Vecna. We learned that they've been going on these little expeditions. Well, Hopper more specifically, going into the upside down to try to clear certain areas to find Vecna. I believe they said that that was like their 37th crawl, so they weren't even expecting to find anything. Some of the group had actually started to give up hope. We also see that the military has set up base inside the upside down child. They're experimenting on some of the creatures down there, trying to gather intel so that they can know what's going on, but also ultimately to try to take advantage of the situation. Not only that, they're conducting their own little experiments in the upside down. More to come for that one. Towards the end of the episode, we start to get hints that Holly might and Nancy's little sister may be Vecna's next vessel. The biggest indicator for me was the imaginary friend, Mr. What's It. Like, of after everything that has gone down, y'all don't think Holly having an imaginary friend is a little sus? Come on now. They pieced it together way too late, all right? Because literally at the end of the episode, a Demogorgon breaks through the ceiling, child, to snatch Holly up out the house. Ain't that something? I mean, when I tell you chills, honey, I was feeling it all. And that brought us into chapter 2. So I feel like chapter 2 was kind of traumatic. Honestly, we actually got to see Holly being physically taken from the home. So the Demogorgon breaks through her bedroom ceiling to try to take her, jack her, and she flees him and makes it to her mom, who's trying to have a nice bath and get drunk. Child, she was sipping on some wine, listening to some music. Okay, Holly breaks into the bathroom, telling her, "Hey, there's a monster! There's a monster!" The mama like, "Child, you're tripping. Monsters are not real." Until she sees it with her own two eyes, child. She was shook, honey. We thought that they were going to get away because they were hiding in the bathtub. Oh, but no. Dear old dad came up to try to save the day. The Demogorgon blew his tail through several of the rooms in their house. They hop out the tub, run downstairs to try to escape, and the demo catches up with them, of course. So we have Holly's mom. I mean, it's not just Holly's mom, right? Mike, Nancy, and Holly's mom. Mrs. Wheeler saying, F this. You're not about to take my child up out this house, all right? She grabs her wine bottle, breaks it on the counter, and was like, what's up? What's up, Demogorgon? What you got? All right? And she did put up a fight. Mrs. Wheeler put up a fight, but guess what, honey? You're still human at the end of the day. The supernatural, it will always win. And so he took her out with a swift 1-2 with the claws, okay? And then still took Holly right about the house. I was like, wow, it's really going down now. Really going down. And this is only episode 2 of the season, okay? So we know that it's going to be a heck of a ride. So after this, Will comes to the realization that his connection with Vecna was never fully severed. Will actually believes that he can use this to find Vecna and ultimately help Elle take him out. But Joyce, honey, oh no, she said absolutely not. You ain't going nowhere. Joyce is actually holding on to him so tight that she might actually smother him, all right, before he even attempts to take Vecna out. But hey, I completely understand. As a mom, you just want to protect your child, especially with everything Will has been through these last 4 seasons. But he and Robin ultimately team up and flee from Miss Joyce to try to go and find Holly based off of a vision that Will had in the last episode. So it was cute to see them team up together and deepen their relationship with each other. After they find that Holly has been kidnapped, Elle and Hopper head into the Upside Down to just start the plan. All right, they're going to look for Holly, but they're also going to look for Vecna. And if she has the opportunity, she plans to take him out. Is it actually going to happen in chapter 2? I don't think so. But I will say, I absolutely love how Elle and Hopper's relationship has evolved over time. He truly is like her dad now. He gets to be a father again, but she also gets to truly um, see what parenting looks like from a sane being or somewhat sane. While Hopper and Elle are exploring the Upside Down, they come to find this massive wall that they believe Vecna has built to keep Elle out, but also to keep Holly away from being um, found. And then to end the episode, Will ultimately does find that it's true. His connection with Vecna was never truly severed because of Vecna infecting him with his disgusting juices from the Upside Down when he was taken as a child in season one. I mean, just from the first two episodes, I was like, my God, I don't know how I'm going to make it through this season. My heart was literally pounding out of my chest in several moments. But I think that's one thing I love about Stranger Things and the writing of the show. They really do a phenomenal job at keeping you hooked. So we go into episodes 3 and 4, or chapter 3 and 4, where we see Will level up from his realization that he is still connected to Vecna. I love that although he is still a little unsure of himself, his talk with Robin and some self actualization has made him realize, like, wait, I actually may be able to do this and truly help in this fight to take Vecna down. He realizes this when he sees that he can influence or basically stop the Demogorgons from attacking his friends. 3 at one time. So then he becomes Will the Sorcerer from D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, the game that they've been playing since they were little kiddos. Like a full circle moment. You gotta love it. Also, in these 2 episodes, Holly finds Max in Henry's mind. This, oh my gosh, this is such a heartwarming moment for me because I thought Max was truly going to the wind. I had an inkling that she could potentially be fighting Vecna in her mind. But I also was not holding on to that hope. I was genuinely thinking that they were going to end up killing her off in this season. So I was happy to know that there was some sign of life from her, even if it was just in Henry's mind. I mean, I thought Max was completely lost. So this reveal gave me goosebumps. So then we have episodes 5 and 6, or chapters 5 and 6. And I feel like these 2 episodes were like episodes of realization for the gang. The group starts to finally realize the full scope of Henry's plan. But they also realize that they may be in a little bit over their heads. So then the group splits up even more to divide and conquer, with Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, and Robin all following the demos into the Upside Down, which puts half the group now in the Upside Down and the other half still in Hawkins to try to complete their plan. So while Elle and Hopper are trying to figure out this wall, but also figure out how to get back into Hawkins, Jonathan, Nancy, Robin, and Steve are all going to Hawkins' lab in the Upside Down because they believe there's a battery there that's somehow powering Vecna, that they can and that they could break it down basically and thwart his plan altogether. What they come to find is not that at all. Um, Basically, there's this exotic matter sitting over the lab in the Upside Down that is keeping the place together. But they don't end up finding this out until Nancy shoots a bullet into the exotic matter and almost destabilizing it and killing them all. Throughout the episode, we see moments between the characters, which I felt were very much needed to kind of slow down the pacing, but also pull you further into the story. You know, we saw moments between Steve and Dustin. They had been butting heads all season over Eddie's death. They came to a kumbaya, which was great because they were really great friends before Eddie's death. We saw moments between Jonathan and Nancy, which Their relationship hadn't even been the same since he left to go to California, and she stayed behind. They had basically a breakthrough of truths, where they were brutally honest with each other. And Jonathan ended up unproposing to Nancy because he planned on proposing, but then he just realized that they're too different now, and it's not meant to be. But they still love each other. And so those were great moments to see between the characters, but also the story between Max and Holly, phenomenal. 10, 10. The acting, top tier. Holly, the actress playing Holly, give the girl 10 out of 10. Okay? Give her award and her flowers, child, because she was eating them up. Eating them up as a child. All right? She was up there with the adults in the show, and I was living for it. I actually truly felt like I was in the show with them. Okay? They made it believable, and I loved it. It was very enjoyable to watch. And so to end the episode, Max finally finds her way out of Vecna's mind, and she is her mind is now connected back to her body, and she awakens. We think that Holly is also going to be making the great escape from Vecna's mind, but then she is recaptured, and my heart is broken all over again. When I tell you pain, I was feeling pain. Okay. So then we have chapter 7. This is the anniversary of Will's disappearance. So we know it's all going down at this point. Okay. The gang finally reunites all together in Hawkins to concoct a plan to truly defeat Vecna or Henry or one, whatever the heck we're calling them these days, once and for all. During this time, Will comes out to the group. I thought this was a special moment. This is something that they were hinting at in the last season. Even a couple episodes before this, when he was having conversations with Robin, and he saw Robin having an interaction with the same sex. And so I think it really just kind of gave him the courage to speak on it with the group, along with Vecna getting inside of his mind, making him think that the group would have turned against him after him coming out. I think that was another way to kind of bond the group closer to each other right before whooping Vecna's ASS. So after this moment with Will, they share information with each other because they had all been broken up into different places up until now, and they come to finally realize what Henry's plan is and how they can potentially stop it. So they know now that Henry plans to bring their worlds together. Initially, they were thinking, okay, so he wants to bring the Upside Down together with Hawkins. But they come to find out, after disrupting the exotic matter in the Upside Down, that the Upside Down is actually just a bridge between their world and another world. Here we were thinking the Upside Down was the other world, when in all actuality, child, no. There's another world that we didn't even know about. All right? This is where Vecna has been hiding all alone, licking his wounds. So they plan to kill Vecna, save the children, and destroy the bridge to end it all. Will they do it? Let us see, child. I mean, the episode was pure insanity, honestly, when you think about it. Vecna's plan is to create a new world after merging these two worlds with the children that he has kidnapped and made into his new vessels. It's crazy. And so then we go into chapter 8, or episode 8, the finale. So this bad boy was 2 hours long. That's how I knew it was gonna be some ish. I knew it was gonna be some ish, but so I told myself, with it being this long, we're going to get a resolution shortly. So at this point, Henry, aka Vecna, aka One, has taken over the children completely and has started to move his dimension or world down and descended through the upside down to merge it with Hawkins. Despite Holly trying to warn the kids that Henry is indeed the monster, they don't believe her and they jump my girl to subdue her into Henry's plan. So the team has finally concocted their plan to stop Henry and save the children. But Elle and Collie have a little side quest going. And Kylie basically tries to convince Elle that the only way for this to truly end is for them to sacrifice themselves after they've killed Henry and saved the children. So basically, after they kill Henry, when they blow up a bomb to destroy the upside down, they're going to stay there and be destroyed with it. I was like, huh? Say what now? Why we can't just let my girl be happy? Why can't she just go to another country, change her name? Honestly, at this point, she could get cosmetic surgery because we want happiness for her. Okay, I don't want death. I don't want her to die. But if I'm being completely honest, I kind of agreed with the plan. Because when will it truly end if these people are always looking for her? So they make it into the upside down, and we see everyone get into position. Elle is in the water tank at Hawkins' lab with Hopper and Collie as they're preparing to go into Vecna's mind to fight him there. The rest of the team is at the Squawk to basically jump into the other world when Vecna descends it down upon them. Like what? And so, literally, this is 20 minutes in, and I'm thinking they're all gonna die. We almost see Steve die 20 minutes in. I'm like, my God, am I gonna make it the rest of this episode? Literally, my heart was pounding out of my chest. My palms were sweaty. All right. I was concerned as if I was a parent watching their child. Woo! So once Elle makes it into Henry's mind, things start to slow down. The world starts descending upon them. They are able to break in through the bottom of this other world, aka the abyss, where Henry is actually hiding to try to free the children. But what is Stranger Things without pure chaos? All right. Henry said, heck no. All right, I ain't going down without a fight. Okay? So as Elle is whooping him up in his mind, he flees to the upside down to get into Hopper's mind, who is watching over Elle while she's in the chamber trying to whoop Vecna in his mind. Isn't this all crazy? It's crazy, but are you keeping up? I hope so. All right. So he ultimately tricks Hopper and gets him to pull Elle from the tank so she's no longer able to fight him in his mind. So guess what? The fight got to be physical now, you know? And so that's where we're headed. And right after all of this happens, the military shows up, of course, as they do to make the situation even worse. So now they're fighting two battles. Just when hope starts to feel lost, Murray comes in to save the day with a grenade to the helicopter that's keeping Elle and Collie from using their powers against the military that's holding them in the upside down. Ultimately, Elle does free them from the military that's holding them, but we lose Kali in the process. This was sad. I was expecting Kali to die, but I didn't think it was going to be this way. And I think she ultimately knew that it was going to be this way. But her mind was changed by Hopper. And so she encouraged Elle to live on, or so we think. After Kali's death, we see another touching moment between Elle and Hopper before she goes off to take on Vecna in the flesh. So, in a couple of moments throughout the season, we saw Henry's memories, and we kind of got a little breadcrumbs here and there as to how he may have become Vecna. We ultimately get to see it in this episode when he has to relive a traumatic memory that turned him into Vecna. So we ultimately get to find out how Henry becomes the original vessel. So we see him exploring this cave as a Boy Scout. He stumbles upon this man who's holding onto this briefcase for dear life with a gun. Henry is just talking to the man out of concern, trying to see if he's hurt. The man is incredibly paranoid, and so he shoots at Henry, shoots him in the hand. Henry then feels threatened and basically beats the man to death with a rock. Does he stop there? No, absolutely not. He takes said briefcase that man is holding on to for dear life and opens it. What does he find inside? A stone that is holding the spirit of the Mind Flayer. So this is how Henry becomes Vecna, how he gets his powers and turns into a psychopath. All right? We also come to find that what I thought was Henry's lair, this huge like hand looking thing, which was not far-fetched because he kept doing this, to a lot of the characters when he would kill them in the last season, and to get into the minds of some of the other characters this season. So I thought, very befitting. No, it wasn't a hand. It was the actual Mind Flayer in real life. Like the spider thing that we had been seeing Will drawing pictures of throughout the seasons. This is it. And it was insane. It was so huge. So the team realizes as Elle breaks through and finally gets to Vecna in the Mind Flayer, that the only way for them to truly defeat him is for them to do it together. So they triple tag him, okay? Triple team tagging. We have Elle v. Henry. We have Will v. Henry. And then we have the rest of the gang v. the Mind Flayer. It was pure chaos. But it was just enough for my girl Elle to nail Henry down to one of the spikes in his lair. And then I breathe. And I think, all right, this just may be over. As the group starts to free the kids from their little cocoons in the Mind Flayer, we hear Henry choking on his own blood. The group then starts to have flashbacks of the trauma that they've experienced at the hands of Vecna. And what better person to end him than Miss Joyce Byers herself. She pulls her axe from her back and chops his head off one hack at a time. And I gotta say, it was so poetic. And so we know that this is not the last step of their plan. They still have to set off the bomb to disrupt the exotic matter above the lab in the Upside Down, assuming it's going to close the bridge, and they'll be done with this completely. So, Murray and Hop set off the bomb, They set a timer and they make their exit from the Upside Down into Hawkins. But guess who's waiting for them there? The military, of course. What do they want? Not what, but who do they want? Your girl Elle, of course. They will not stop until they have her captured. Because remember, they were working on their own little experiment in the Upside Down. So, come to find out, they were using Collie's blood to infuse it into pregnant women to try to create more L's, more Henrys, more Collies. Like, have they not learned that they should cut their losses in GTF? Clearly not. So, what we think is over is not. And Elle shows us that in order for it to truly be over, she can no longer be living. So what does she do? She goes to the entrance of the Upside Down and she waits there until the bomb detonates and the Upside Down along with her are taken and she's gone. And at this point, I am bawling real tears. All right? I'm like, no! Because we want a happy ending. I want a happy ending for my girl Elle. Everything that she has been through all season, honestly, everything that she has been through since season 1, she has saved the gang, and in turn, they have saved her. But ultimately, she thinks that she has to give her life in order for everyone else to be happy. How deep? I mean, it was a lot for me to swallow and process. And before she's taken completely, she enters Mike's mind and basically tries to get him to understand her decision and get him to explain her decision to the others so that they are at peace with her decision. And we think that it all ends there. But then we get fast forward 18 months later, where we get to see what the gang has been up to and if things are truly going back to normal. And it does appear so, right? It looks like the town of Hawkins is back to normal. Everybody's going on with their regularly scheduled activities. But the gang lets us know that no, it's not really the same. We do get to see them graduate. And Dustin gives us a phenomenal valedictorian speech, which levels him up with the ladies. All right. So now he's getting chose. All right. Good for him. Good for you, Dusty Buns. We also get to catch up with some of the older crew in the gang. Nancy, Jonathan, Robin, and Steve. They have kind of all gone their separate ways, leaving the town with the exception of Steve. But you know, they realize that it's not the same. And so they've vowed to meet up at Robin's crazy uncle's house, at least once a month to catch up, and stay in touch with each other. We also get to see Joyce and Hop, back at the restaurant from their very first disastrous date. Hop looking like he's in the same ugly plaid shirt from the first date. I said, he needs to hang it up. Actually, he needs to put it in the trash. All right, he doesn't need to hang it up anymore. All right, but he finally proposes to at last, nonetheless, which was something that was great to see and very heartwarming, I feel like, to try to close out the episode. And then the last scene, we see the gang, Mike, Will, Dustin, Lucas, and Max all playing a game, their final game of D&D. Mike, our storyteller, is, you know, talking through the campaign, and the story sounds a lot like their last battle with Vecna. And just when they think it's over, that the vampire or Vecna has won, they're able to summon a being that sounds a lot like El, the mage, who comes and saves the day. Mike then gives us a glimpse into all of their futures. Max and Lucas doing really well and staying in love with each other. Dustin going off to college and finding his way. Will, becoming more comfortable with himself and finding a potential lover. And then we have Mike, giving us a glimpse of his own story, potentially even becoming an author. But not only does he gives us a glimpse into their future, but potentially the future of none other than Miss L, who we thought may be dead or maybe not. He confesses, or does he, that maybe Kali didn't die when we thought she did, that she lived long enough to cast an illusion over Elle when they got out of the Upside Down to make us think that she was sacrificing herself, when in actuality, maybe she was just invisible enough to escape to a faraway land with 2 waterfalls. The group all said it, and I felt it, that they believe it, because we want to believe it as watchers. We want the happy ending, not just for them, but for Elle. And so I hope that this is what truly happened. But we'll never know, will we? And so as we watch them all put away their D&D book for the last time, and they walk up the stairs, and Mike turns around to say basically goodbye to the basement, we see a new group running down the stairs. Holly and some of her classmates that were captured by Vecna, to continue the legacy of playing D&D. And so it continues. And with that, I rate Stranger Things, the last season, a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I could not have asked for a better story. I feel like they did a phenomenal job at bringing everything to a close. It was a sad ending, but an enjoyable one. Well then, my lovelies, let me know what you thought. Please drop your comments below. And if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Until next time, I hope you keep your snacks ready and your cups full. Cheers.